At the beginning of this series, we see Joe as an intelligent and well-read man. His love for books and introspection portrayed him as deep and cultured. He was also charming and pretty much articulate. So it was easy to fall in love with this guy. He viewed himself as a romantic, the audience viewed him as a romantic, a protector, and someone just trying to be good, and someone backed into a corner. So from season 1, but this series portrayed the mind of a narcissistic psychopath and how easy it is to fall into their traps, even as a well-read person. So we're going to be analyzing this series from season 1 to 5. From season 1 to 5, we see Joe constantly struggle with accountability, reality, and also violent tendencies. From the series, we see Joe exhibit traits associated with narcissistic personality disorder, antisocial personality disorder, and obsessive attachment styles. We see where he elevates himself. He believes he is morally superior and destined to save his love interest. He also lacked remorse, and he became obsessed and stalked his victims continuously. He also eliminated anyone who threatened his fantasy that he had created in his head, including his victims. And I feel like the author did her work on this series. I like the fact that they showed us Joe's internal dialogue throughout the movie, and we were able to follow him and see the reason why he did stuff. And I feel like it's one of the best shows I've ever seen. So coming back to season 1, we were introduced to Joe and Beck. We saw how Joe stalked Beck, made choices on her behalf. We saw him mask control as care. He killed her friends and he manipulated her and showed her what he felt he wanted to see. Manipulated her, stalked her as well. When she found out and she realized the kind of person he was, he finally killed her. This season 1 is literally one of my favorite seasons, and it introduces Joe Goldberg, the pattern that defines his behavior. He idealizes his victims, obsesses over them, controls them, and finally destroys them. His violent acts were very, very calculated, yet emotionally justified in his mind, marking the early stages of his delusional thinking. So season 1 showed us how twisted Joe could get. He was not extremely twisted yet, but it showed us how twisted Joe could get in season 1. And when he killed Beck, I was like, this nigga, they have to catch it. But even then, we were still on his side. And season 2, Candice came into the picture and apparently made it her purpose to stop Joe because he had tried to kill her previously. And we were also introduced to Joe's new love interest, Love Queen, who was also a psychopath like Joe, but more accepting of herself. I love Candice's role in this season. It showed how much no one would believe the victim of a narcissist. Because of how two-faced they can be, it's nearly impossible to reconcile the two extremely distinct personalities with one person. Joe was a likable guy. He was friendly. He was a good neighbor. He was caring. So, I mean, who's going to believe Candice that Joe actually tried to kill her? Like, this guy is basically textbook good. Like, he's your average normal boring guy. And season 2, Joe showed a lot of internal conflict, and it seemed like he was constantly battling with himself. He did not want to repeat the same mistakes he made with Beck and Candice. He didn't want to repeat those same mistakes with Love. So we can see him having a lot of internal struggle and dialogue, and he really just wanted to redeem himself. And even at the ending of season 2, we can see Joe show a brief period of actual accountability. He was ready for the consequences of his actions. very brief, before he found out who Love Queen was and decided to shift responsibility to Love. So that was season 2. Season 2 showed him constantly struggling with himself, and ending of season 2 showed that he wanted to be a better person for his son. And at the beginning of season 3, we saw Joe and Love get married, and we saw the extent of Love Queen's twisted mess. Love Queen mirrored exactly who Joe Goldberg was, and he hated it. She reminded him too much of a part of himself he hated and denied, and as a typical narcissist, he hated her and wanted to kill her instantly. Their toxic dynamic reflected his own dysfunction, and his delusion increased in season 3 as he genuinely believes he is the victim of the circumstance that he created. So season 3, we start to see how unaccountable and delusional Joe Goldberg really is. And in season 4, we can see him literally unwinding. And in season 4 marks a turning point in Joe's mental state. Now in London, under a new identity, Jonathan Moore, he experiences dissociations, hallucinations, personified by a dark alter ego, Richmond Rose. It shows, and honestly, the ending of season 4 blew my mind, and I had to ask myself this question: how far will a narcissist go to actually avoid accountability? Like, Joe Goldberg was a typical narcissist. In fact, his narcissism stood out to me more than his psychopathy, because why are you denying your true self or your true intentions? He was not able to reconcile his actions with his desired self-image. The hallucinations and blackouts suggested that Joe had deep psychological trauma, and the breakdown of his internal narrative as well showed that. And for the first time, Joe actually becomes truly dangerous, not just to others but also to himself, no longer fully aware of what he was capable of. And at the end of season 4, I would not lie, I wanted Joe Goldberg to die. I wanted him to be arrested, and I did not like the fact that his wife or girlfriend just kind of cleared the air for him. Season 5, we see Joe more accepting of himself. He embraces his darker impulses now. He knows he likes to kill. He knows it's what gives him purpose, protecting his family, protecting his loved ones. And when him and his wife started having issues, he despised the wife for not letting him take control of this situation. Joe Goldberg is a control freak. He is obsessed with control, and he was upset that the wife did not allow him to get his way. And like typical Joe Goldberg, decided to start cheating as usual. And we got introduced to Dante, where he felt like Dante understood him. She only for us to realize that Dante was actually trying to take him down. And Joe and Dante's relationship, it truly stood out for me, because it shows how manipulative a narcissist really is. It can get very conflicting, because you are seeing two sides of a person. They're nice, they see you, it's like they love you, it's like they will do anything for you, they will kill for you. And for someone that has not really has been shown love in the past, it can seem intriguing, tempting, and honestly, she fell for it. She fell victim for it. It shows. And in the end, when all the women he had abused came together to take him down, and she believed him, he tried to kill her. He tried to kill her in the end. So Joe starts as a man who believes he's doing good, he's doing bad things for love. But across the seasons, he evolves into someone who no longer feels the need to justify his darkness. His psychological journey is one of increasing self-deception, fragmentation, and eventual acceptance of his true nature. Joe carefully selected his victims, all love interest. He picked emotionally vulnerable women he felt he could manipulate, lonely women looking for love. He studied them, portrayed what he felt they wanted to see. Despite being a murderer and a stalker, Joe portrays himself as a romantic, a protector, and someone trying to be good. Joe was a predator. He was a narcissistic psychopath with only victims, and his love did not exist because it was not true, just an excuse. And I feel like the fact that I like the fact that and it just comes to show how long psychopaths how many years psychopaths can go on for and be unnoticed, and you won't even have any idea. They're your friend, they're your family, they're sitting right next to you, and you're not even aware of these things. I feel like you just hold up a mirror to our cultural fascination with broken men who do terrible things for love. And it was an amazing series, and honestly I will give it an 8/10. Thank you very much, and I hope you subscribe to my YouTube channel.